Hey guys, this is Diana Ballard, and welcome to the Mom Training Podcast, where we discuss the skills and strategies to create possibilities in motherhood and make it more fun, efficient, organized, and peaceful. You can find more information or connect with me online at dianaballard.com or at Diana Ballard Live on social media. Dude, but I make so many mistakes. If you tuned in last week, we talked about our worth and what we feel we are worthy to receive. As humans, especially as mothers, we can feel pretty upset about making mistakes and not being perfect all the time. Because our kids depend on us, right? We respond in ways that we don't want to, have selfish moments, make decisions that we've worried can affect our whole family. Perfection is a terrible thing to expect of ourselves, or even push to become, if you ask me, meaning that of course we want to be our best self, make the best choices and decisions possible for us and for our family's sake, but there has to be some grace in there for ourselves as learning and growing individuals. Being perfect is something that we cannot obtain in this life, and that's okay and natural. So feeling bad and that we're not yet perfect is unrealistic. The real goal is to keep working at becoming our best self and doing so in love and grace as we make mistakes, which undoubtedly will happen on almost a daily basis. Things that we could have done maybe just a little bit different, but it's in remembering that this life is a learning ground for each individual and every one of us. And each day we act, learn, and adjust for tomorrow. So in connecting our worth with our fight for perfection, one of the main reasons people struggle with the idea of receiving is because they don't feel like they deserve it. Like if they are too flawed or have made too many mistakes in the past or struggle with weaknesses now, they might feel that they don't deserve good coming into their life or have a hard time letting their mistakes go or forgiving themselves, which could actually block their ability to receive or accept new things or blessings into their life. Now, there could be some things that we've worked on for years and still struggle with. Now, they may not be real serious things, but they still bug us when we do them, or something we constantly have to work on to keep the old habits in check and not have our weaknesses surface. It can be really frustrating to see ourselves constantly struggle with things we're trying to become better at, especially if we can see how they affect the life around us and specifically our family. But in most cases, as we step back, we've probably made more progress than we think we have, and just have to remember that each day we keep working on turning these weaknesses into strengths, we'll have more and more progress. And continuing to work on these habits will bring us joy as we conquer them. Because sometimes the little habits and weaknesses that we have can make big impacts on our life and especially on our self-worth and what we feel we can receive in our life and deserve to feel and experience. So we want to be working on those weaknesses and changing our belief about ourselves as we do. And holding on to these past mistakes, whether 10 years ago or yesterday, can be damaging to our health, joy, and progress. I'm not saying we justify continuing some bad habits, but what I'm saying is that each day is a clean slate. And as we sincerely work on getting over a weakness, learning a new way of doing things, changing a mindset, whatever, that with time we will be set free and not struggle in that area anymore. And in most cases, these weaknesses can turn into our biggest strengths as we don't give up conquering them. Now, to give a little perspective of different types of weaknesses and problems that we may have to work on, I want to share some of my story with you. So as I share, I invite you to think about your own life, choices, and mistakes. So 2019 is a time of rejoicing for me. Actually, June of every year is a special time, a time of reflection and extreme gratitude for where my life is now. June of 2019 marks my 11th year of sobriety from drugs and alcohol and a lifestyle of highly destructive living. A lifestyle that produced more pain, discomfort, betrayal, and loneliness than anything I could even explain to you. A life of daily abuse, unrest, and sadness. Years of self-inflicted abuse and trauma. There's not much I hadn't touched, done, seen, or experienced during this time. And that can be really damaging to the soul and especially to your self-worth. I found myself at rock bottom, depressed, hopeless, and without purpose. Now, in that time, did I ever see my life being anything like it is now? No. They say, where do you want to be in 10 years from now? 5 years from now, your life can change dramatically in 5 to 10 years and can be completely different, because that old person that I was, those old choices that I made, I never would have seen myself in this life that I am now. My life is completely different than if I would have continued in that path, right? Those weaknesses, those choices, those mistakes, I never expected to be where I am right now. So here I am as a mom, and a little more seasoned than I expected myself to be as a mom. My thoughts, ideas, and responses are a little more hood than I'd like to be sometimes. I enjoy music with a strong beat. I stub my toe, I drop something, I have to be careful what comes out of my mouth. And a handful of other things that I constantly have to work on about my beliefs about people and how I interact with the world around me. But I really do believe that I can be a good mom and am a good mom, and that I can grow into the mom that I want to be. I really do believe that I can grow into the wife and homemaker that I want to be, and that the future life I want is still possible for me, even though I haven't been perfect and been so far from perfect and made so many highly destructive and painful mistakes that I really hope that no one else ever has to experience. And I'm still not perfect today and will never be perfect. But here's the point I want to make about sharing my story. I have done things that maybe none of you would even dream of doing. Experiences that I'm not proud of and will never repeat. But after years of working through the aftermaths of these experiences and old lifestyle, I am not ashamed of that past and who it made me into today. It might be easy for us to think, oh, I'm too far gone. I've really messed things up. I'll never be the mom, wife, or housewife I want to be because of my past. I'll never reach the success that I want. I've messed myself up. I don't deserve it. And sometimes we feel like we're unable to be fixed and we'll always struggle with problems or specific weaknesses. And by feeling that way, we can shut ourselves off from receiving peace, joy, and amazing experiences in our life, especially with being a mom and having a family. But I really want you to know that no matter what you've done in your past, it doesn't have to be your future. You don't have to have a perfect past to have a happy life, and especially a happy family life. You don't have to be mistake-free to have a harmonious marriage. You don't have to be a perfect person to be a good mom and learn how to run a successful household. You don't have to have been in the right places at the right time all the time to feel good about yourself, your worth, and your life. I'm grateful for my past and what it taught me about myself, about loving people, and personal insight into the dangers that are out there, which I'll be able to think back and be able to help my children with these kind of things in the future, but especially how to teach them of their self-worth and that they don't have to be perfect, because it was my lack of self-esteem that got me into that mess in the first place. So teaching my children that even though we make mistakes, pick yourself right back up, because you're worth it and you're beautiful, and that mistake does not define you. So whatever your past has been, again, whether it was 10 years ago or your past 10 minutes ago, it does not define you. It is not a representation of your future and what is possible for you. So I invite you to let go of the mistakes you've made. Do what you need to process through it, find healing, ask forgiveness for people that maybe you've hurt, and move on. For we don't have to be perfect to have the beauty we want in our life. But what I really feel is that we just have to keep trying and working on things. Yeah, there are situations that we may need to get out of, choices that we may need to let go. But as we continue studying people who have the future that we want and learning from them, having new ways to think, live, and do things, there is no reason for us not to be able to reach the goals that we want to if we don't give up. After a past like mine, there's a chance someone could feel that they don't deserve anything good. And your past and mistakes may be completely different than mine. And honestly, I hope it is. That road I went down brings nothing but sorrow and hardship. But I'll tell you, my life is far more beautiful than I could have ever created myself. And it continues to get better and better, despite the past that I moved on from 11 years ago, and despite the mistakes I made yesterday. So however you find freedom and healing, awesome. But just putting in a plug here, if you need help, you can always come to Jesus. He has set me free in ways I can't even explain, removed any shame in my past, and has taken a life from a broken mess and helped me create something beautiful in a life I truly enjoy. For ladies, again, our past does not have to define our future. Our worth is not connected to how perfect we do something or not. We can receive beauty, love, abundance, healing, and freedom into our lives and enjoy what we create. Instead of giving up on your future, give up the past. Let go of the regret and reframe your thinking into, I can have what I'm working for or want. I can do this. And I have grace with myself in the process of getting there and becoming the person I want to be. Let's let go of the concern of being perfect and spend that energy creating the life we desire. We can do this, mamas. Share this podcast with another mama or on your social media, and we'll see you next week on the Mom Training Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into the Mom Training Podcast. If you liked what you heard, I would so appreciate a rating and review from you on any platform you listen to this on. If you have any questions or podcast ideas, you can message me on my social media at Diana Ballard Live or shoot me an email on my website. See you next week.